Hello, Apps here from Dimp Digital. Welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is the video games podcast where we give our impressions of the games that you can play today and react to the latest news from the wonderful world of video games. We're here every Monday on your favourite podcast app and YouTube, absolutely free. This week I'm joined once again by the free-time Dimp Digital Gaming Quiz Champion. It's Tom Adkins, not Adcock. How's it going?
I'm bloody ruddy good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, not too bad. Can't complain. Well, can complain. Always complain, I say. But it's a bit of a weird weather. Hot, wet, tut. But we're going to be back with some game impressions now.
We don't play games.
We don't actually play games. We just talk about the news.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've done one of these, and we've got quite a lot backed up. So for those, I'm going to expose the business like I like to do. Likely that this will be spread over multiple episodes. So if you're watching, you'll know which ones they are because we're wearing the same clothes. So if some breaking news happens, which might happen on the 10th of August, if this abandoned trailer took going live, it could be big news. We may be back next Sunday with a news update, and then we'll slot in the rest of the game impressions. But you'll be able to see us if you're watching on the YouTube machine. But if you're hearing us, you probably won't know. Although I've just told you, so you will know. Giving away the game. That's the trouble with exposing the business. You give people the insight, and they start holding it against you, saying it's not a professional outfit. You're not doing it live every week. And it's like, well, got other things to do, like play fucking video games.
Actually trying.
It's hard work sometimes.
It is. Although I've played quite a bit in the last months. I'm playing old shit. I ain't played it. Well, I have played something new, but mainly old turt. No, not turt. Old good turt.
Old good turt. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, so we'll get there.
Let me say, anything could be reviewed. What was the first ever game made?
God. I did actually have this written down somewhere for something else.
Really?
I can't remember what it was now. It's like fucking Blasters or some. Yeah.
GTA 5. I actually did. I had started GTA 5 again on the old this one. Started again. Do you know what? I've only ever completed it once. That's disastrous, isn't it?
I've only done it twice.
Oh, rare.
When they. I've got it on PC now. This thing is, and I could play it again on that. And then they're saying that I don't know what this PS5 and Series X version is going to look like. Some people are rumouring it could be sort of half rebuilt in a new engine or the more up to date engine of Red Dead. So if it's that, got to consider it. But you'd think the PC will get the update anyway. So what do you do? But then there's no trophies or achievements which people are trying to chase. Yeah. So it's not easy. Let's get going, because there are lots of games and this could take a number of hours for us, and the people at home will be none the wiser. I'm going to kick things off with myself, which I don't like to do, but selfish this time. And I'm going to talk you through the Metro Saga. So it's 3 games, a triple bill. And I played them all back to back pretty much.
Oh, the fucking real trilogy way. I played the first one.
Well, it's not you doing the impressions, so that's the.
Wow. I'll go first. I phased you. I played the first one for 45 minutes and then stopped because they released a fucking Redux. I was like, right, what's going on? Tell me what the Redux is.
I don't know. All I know is the Redux versions I've played are supposed to have been like the remastered versions of the gen prior to last. So
I think that Clarky told me that they made that second one, Last Light, is it? And then went, cool, this looks better with all the lighting. Right, let's redo the first one in this engine. I think that was the case.
Well, that may well be the case, but we're not going to confirm or deny those rumours as such. But I was, the original came out in 2010, so that's what you're kind of dealing with on a, I guess, like a mechanical level, because you know it was sitting there on that 360 and those PCs back in the day.
Oh, melting at 30 FPS.
Well, that's the thing, yeah, and it
Oh.
was, but bugs coming along as well. I mean, 4A games, that was one of the things I used to always see in the reviews. Lots of bugs, was a bit rough around the edges, but a nice setting and story and something a little bit different, which is probably the case in 2010. And its sequel followed up not long after that. So we've got two of them: Metro Last Light, Metro 23. Then we've got the third one, which is Metro Exodus, which was last gen, and then they've done an enhanced edition with ray tracing and all that stuff. So it's a bit complicated, but for the fact of the matter is, I played the two Redux versions of 2033, which is the first one, Last Light, which is the second one, and then I played the enhanced edition of Exodus, which was bells and whistles ray tracing. It was on PC originally, and then they transferred that over to the console as well, PS5 and Xbox Series X. So you can now play the Exodus Enhanced Edition on the new set of consoles. They run at 60, they've got ray tracing, they look lovely, so we will get to that. But these are old games, this Last Light and this 2033. That was the sort of main takeaway of these two. I played
the Witcher jobby, and is this based on books?
Yeah, based on books. Not that I'm ever going to go out and read them.
Russian.
Russian folklore. Well, it's not folklore. But I mean, the setting is that there's been a nuclear war, and in Moscow, they believe that they are one, if not the only surviving sort of people in the world, because it was pretty much World War III. That's what it's tipped off. I don't think they go into actually who started it and all that stuff. Didn't really go down the political route and say, well, I'll tell you what, those bloody Irish started it off unbelievably, sitting there neutral for all those years, and they fired rockets out at everyone. They don't be doing any of that, but essentially, to get away from the fallout, to get away from the bombs, people headed into the metro, which I guess is the tube for us if we're over here in the UK. Underground fucking trains. So it's a shithole. Like this is especially the first two games. The setting is primarily in these metro stations.
Brown and grey.
It is. It's very dark. It's very gloomy. But that's the atmosphere they've kind of set. And for 2033, I think the biggest. It's a bit bare bones, if I'm honest.
First one.
Yeah, 2033 was a bit bare bones. Stealth didn't work that well, in my opinion. And you can, blast your way through, but it's easier to stealth because you're normally overwhelmed by enemies. It doesn't take a lot to put you down. I played on survival mode on 2033, which is the survival horror quote unquote version of it. Where you take less damage and you enemies die easier, but there's less ammo, so they kind of balance it like that. And yeah, this felt like a 2010 game. It felt like a game that was made, with the 360 in mind and with the tech around at that time. Even like the story is a bit throwaway, which I kind of wasn't expecting, because I felt like I'd heard that the story in these games was one of the strong bits, but that wasn't quite there. Then
like a narration type thing. I remember that the loading screens were like narrations with like pages or something, if I remember right.
Yeah, so this is the strange thing. You play as, and this is in all three games, you play as a chap called Artem, Russian, and he will speak when you load a mission. It will like set up and say, I've just done X, I'm now doing Y. So every time you come back, if you save mid-level, go away for a day, come back, you'll load in, it'll give you that little synopsis again, so it'll update you.
At least you know where you are, especially me, if I leave it for like 3 months and go, what's happening here then?
Yeah, exactly.
Quite handy.
He'll pick you up. But this is probably what I feel like kind of hampers the story throughout the series, because this is the same in all three of them, is that he's a silent protagonist. So he's chatting away in these little lore bits, these little loading screens, these new levels. He can't keep his mouth shut. But then when it comes down to the real business and there's real people in front of him, he's like, "Ooh," he don't say a fucking word. And I didn't really think of it too much. Like, Gordon Freeman doesn't talk in Half-Life. That kind of, was the scene was set there in Half-Life 2 as well. But there is a piece of DLC that I played on Exodus where you play as like one of the side characters, and he does interact and talk, and it makes things so much better, like just
Yeah.
in those small
Just
bits.
for
So
that in general.
yeah, so it's a bit of a strange decision to do the voice work for like the lore bits and the loading in and out. Some of the cutscenes he'll talk over and narrate, but then in game when there's people chatting to you, he's scared and silent, just sort of standing there. Like
Oh,
do one or the other is what
bit-
I'm saying.
yeah. Don't fuck about with that split shit.
Yeah, there's another annoying thing about 2033, and this is also in Last Light, in that when you find collectibles, you'd normally find a note, and it would be like written by fucking plumber X who probably got trapped down there and died, and then you're like, cool, poor old Bob. He was stuck down here, calling for his family. You read through it and think that's fucking depressing. Well, they don't have that in Last Light or 2033. What they decide to do instead is you find the collectibles, which aren't obvious. You kind of have to go out your way to find them, and they fill in Artem's diary.
Oh,
It's like, why am I going to the end of this pipe off the fucking beaten path for him to write a little note that's not related to where I've just gone? It's just a way of like withholding bits of story. And I didn't find them all because I was trying to. These were breakneck. These two. Crash Bang Wallop did I think I did both of them in 4 days. So I really kicked the fuck out of them, and
yeah.
it was a depressing few days, if I'm honest, down in those gloomy old metros. But
Oh.
yeah, that was slightly annoying. But story and that aside, the atmosphere is really good. Like the Redux versions look nice. You kind of
I
tell they're a
remember
bit
that's
old.
one thing that did stick out to me was the graphics still sort of held up
Yeah.
quite, especially on that Puck. It
Mm.
looks pretty good. And is that what you played both of them on, Puck?
Yeah, I should say I played everything on PC.
Or even the Exodus.
Even Exodus, because the enhanced edition was only out on PC. I played them all on Epic Game Store as well, so I can see
Oh,
already immediately the viewers are
Steam
dropped.
Killer.
People hating the Epic Game Store, but I got these two for free. These first two, and then Exodus was on sale, and they were doing you get a £10 coupon. Because I've been claiming the games, so I got it for a fiver.
Ah,
And I was like,
dear.
£5 UK for a
You
new
get
Ray
like Hades
Trace.
for a quid as
I
well or
got Hades for
something.
£4.50.
Ah, and people, and that's Epic.
That's Epic Game Store, yeah.
People say she's a big pair of tits.
Yeah, there's deals to be had if you're willing to sell your soul to Sweeney and Co. And I'm willing
Like,
to sell that soul. So
yeah,
that was that. It was a low investment, but I was in two minds whether to play the first two, and I'm kind of glad I did. But I feel like you
yeah.
can get away of not doing it for those that are kind of half in, half out, because especially in the first one, the story is a bit throwaway, but combat is decent. Gets a bit hectic at time. They don't explain, in my view, some of the systems very well. Like you just kind of get like you've got this little watch on, and that gives you like how much time you've got of like air or like clean air or purified air. You get these filters that you pick up, and it'll add 5 minutes to your timer on your watch. So if you ever go up to the surface, which you do a few times, which is quite cool, I'll get to a little story from that.
Novel.
Yeah, it's not far off that.
Oh,
So if that starts running low, you need to find a new filter or change it, and that's kind of like another mechanic you have to balance. They don't really explain that in the game, so that was a bit annoying. On the watch also there's this little indicator, like a light, and when it's on, it means you're visible. When it's off, it means you're hidden. So to aid your stealth. I didn't figure that out till about halfway through the game. They didn't tell me. I think I saw it in one of the little when you die and the little load tips, and I was like, "Oh fucking hell!" So it weren't old in hands, and maybe I should have known better. Maybe I weren't paying attention because I was Lord Breaknecking it. But all in all, 2033 was an interesting playthrough. It was the first of what I was at that time knew was going to be like a saga of
oh.
three of them, and
Did it break the first-person shooter mold? Is it anything new?
I don't.
What came first?
I
When
don't
was
think so.
what game? What year was for Fallout 3?
2008, I think.
2 years.
Yeah, it's 2 years after that, but it still feels like a product of that time. Like, there's annoying things. Like, when you go up to a ladder, for instance, it's still got that old mechanic where you walk to it and you have to keep walking forward and then you'll go up on it. Like,
Right, yeah.
there's no prompt. And I think especially the first game, about 4 times I got stuck at the very top of it, and I had to reload. And I was like, Jesus Christ, what are you fucks doing? So there's still, it definitely is still a product of its time. It looks nicer, it runs better, I guess, is the what Redux is doing. But then again, I think if you had it on PC, it would have ran at higher frames anyway. I think Redux particularly was for console players for PS4 and Xbox One to use the new juice of that. But it's a worthwhile playthrough. It's not very long. Sort of, I breaknecked it in under 10, like it was probably about 8 hours or so, and I was steamrolling through that. I would say first one, 2033, a solid 7 out of 10.
Oh,
Little
7.
little
Worthy.
little bronze jobby.
Bronze jobby for them.
So
Yep, that's fair enough.
they get that. Then Last Light.
Oh,
So I played this in Spartan mode.
of course. Why are they dropping this Ranger and survival mode?
Don't know.
No idea.
I've got no idea, but I chose Spartan mode this time to see if it's any different. Gotta say, I didn't notice much difference.
No.
It felt harder on Spartan mode in a way because the enemies took a bit more of a beating.
Bullet sponges.
So that was a bit of an annoyance. But it inherits a lot of the same kind of issues, I guess, in terms of silent protagonist, the bugs and stuff. It feels more like this is like Metro 1.5,
Right.
if that makes sense. It's not like a full blown. We've got all
Let's
brand new ideas. But in saying that, it's still quite a big improvement on 2033. Like they do a much better job of setting up the story. They explain most of the systems at the start in this very straightforward tutorial, but you learn how things work. There's more variety in locations. You can stealth kill a bit easier, and you can either kill or you can incapacitate people, so you don't have to kill them. There are several hub areas that you visit throughout your journey, and they are great. Like I was, as I said, breaknecking through these, but even I had to spend some time just pottering about in these little hub worlds that you come across. They were so well realised, and I spent loads of time just wandering around, seeing what to offer. There was like one place that was like, it was almost like Venice. It was like on like barge boards and on water, like the metros had flooded, and there was all sorts going on there. There was like a little shooting range. I had a little go out. There was some strippers there, which is always nice for hot-blooded males. And whilst the story wasn't great, I felt like it was improved after 2033. The characters felt a bit more fleshed out. It tied both these games together nicely. It's kind of like very much a part one and a part two. These two as a package, you'd want to see Last Light as well because it'll expand on things that you get. There's some actual antagonists this time. Like the first one, you're just kind of going from A to B to C to D to drop off these fucking dog tags from one of the rangers. This time, there's actual people that you interact with, talk at you, and they become baddies, or you just know who you're kind of going after. It just presented a bit more of an all-round better package. Still, like I mentioned, the ladder bugs, dying in cutscenes as well. Like it would snatch you to do like a set piece, and then it would throw you out of it. And I died a couple of times randomly, and I was like, "What's happened there?" You just reload, and then suddenly you just watch the cutscene again.
Did you get? Does it? Like with a game like Uncharted, you get 1, 2 would always the second game more money pumped in, and it had that more bigger feel, set pieces introduced. Does it have that at all?
It kind of does, but not to that extent. Like,
Because it's
Exodus feels like the one that's like,
right,
we've got our
big
ducks in a
leap.
row here. Here we go. This is like the sequel. This felt like, and it's not because it's the length of it's still worthy of like a full game, but it felt more like another 2033 just told a bit better with a few things tightened up.
It's its same setting as well. Like you're not changing much. More environments underground. Pop up to the top.
it has got some better settings and stuff. Like a lot of the hub worlds you visit actually have some light on them. They kind of build them out a lot better, and you do spend a lot of time in the metro systems, but they kind of mix it up a little bit more in Last Light. I should mention this, both games have a hidden karma system where decisions that you make, like you can choose to sometimes kill or spare people, Or when you're in stealth, killing people will lower your. It's all hidden. You don't know this is going on. It will lower your. I guess your morale or where you're standing, good or bad. If you incapacitate them, it will bring it up, and that can influence endings of stories on both sides. So that,
Playthroughs required.
well, YouTube videos is what I say.
Yeah.
But Last Light for me, it's very much the same sort of issues it inherits, but it was just a bit of a better game, and just some of the more egregious things it fixed, whilst not stepping outside of its zone and being like a massive step forward. So for me, I'll be giving it 7.5. Give it a little extra half mark. Now,
1.5 for an extra
yeah,
one.
for a little bit of extra flavour and a bit more sizzle in this one.
Ooh.
One of my favourite things that happened in 2033 to the original one is there's a part where you go to the surface you kind of have to go up to go back down again. You know, there's a narrative reason why you do it, and you I went out there and it's frantic because that's the sort of the first time the filtration system comes into effect. So you think, I've only got 5 minutes to do this, because if that runs out, I'm going to start suffocating and you die. And you find filters on your travel, so you don't have 5 minutes. But when I first did it, I was like, right, I need to get through this as quick as possible. I got all sorts of snarled up and turned round. So I ran into a building because there's this big fuck in the air as well circling. And I don't think you can kill it. It'll get you. I didn't want to be dealing with it. So I ran to this little office building. I ran around a corner and there was like a generic, like, sort of like, not like a dog, but like a mutated dog type enemy there. Big fucker. It growled at me. I just shot it like out of instinct. I was like, right, I need that had to die. Fine. They kill you all game. And then I walked over to where its body was, and there were 3 little baby ones there. And I'd accidentally walked into its nest, killed mummy, and left the babies there. And I was like, oh. So I shot all 3 babies because I thought they're not going to survive, Adkins. They weren't going to. And
Don't need it.
I put them out of their misery, but I felt awful after that. And I was like, Jesus.
Oh, I was about to say that. Does anything carry over? Decisions or anything?
No, it's all very separate. Like there's no like save system where it transfers. It's not like Mass Effect. It's
Right.
not
Yeah.
that level. That's the case for the third one as well. It's all like clean slate. And there is a canonical ending to kind of all of them. I don't know what the canonical ending of Exodus is because we don't know if there's going to be another one and how that's going to start or end. But the other 2, there is a canonical ending that you can get. I think I got the canonical ending on 2033, but blew it on Last Light. So I couldn't go back. I would have had to go back like 3/4 of the game, maybe not, maybe halfway of the game to do something different to get the next one. So YouTube jobby. To get that one. So, but you know, as a package, they're decent, but they are old. You're gonna.
So when that's 2010 was the first one. So it's 12, 13?
Yeah, I think it was 2013. So a little 3-year gap for them.
3-year gap. On to the next one, the Maestro.
This is the Maestro, Metro Exodus. So I remember this being shown at one of the Xbox conferences.
Yeah, it was.
I think it might have been the Series X. No, the One X. It may well have been part of.
That one, was it?
I feel like it was, but could be wrong.
Possibly.
Anyway, pops out on PS4 and Xbox One 2019. I haven't played the first 2, so I'm not interested. And then I get wind that they're doing at the time, a PC only upgrade where it's going to be ray traced and all this good stuff. And I just purchased this new PC and I thought, well, that's, I've played Resident Evil Village on it, which turned out to be one of the most awful ports of the year for the last few years, in fact, because they were crapping all over it. They fixed it now, but at launch that weren't great. So I was like, what is this Master Race all about? I'm getting subjected to shit ports. This is a very Adkins 2012 experience.
2012 was getting that PC, choosing it over the PS4 and Xbox One. They get bombarded with fucking Batman fucking Arkham Knight, which is the worst port ever. Witcher just fucking hanging on by a thread.
Not good enough.
No, they still fuck it, didn't they?
No, but this is the enhanced edition, which is now available on PS5, Xbox Series X, and obviously PC.
But that's an absolute fucking unit of a gigabyte.
It's beautiful. In fact, I'll try and look in the background how big it is.
I'm saying 74.
74 gig. You're saying? Let's have a look. Let's test Epic Games Live. Has it got the guts? I probably end up accidentally start fucking running it.
I'm playing it.
Question
Here
is,
we
have
go.
I uninstalled it? I haven't. This is with the add-ons.
That's the annoying thing is Epic doesn't tell you how big these games
79 gig.
are. Oh, I weren't far off.
No, that's with both DLC packs as well, which I think were about 6. So pretty good. But Exodus is great. That's the headline. Much improved from the last two. A completely different game. Like the Last Light and 2033 are both primarily in the metro stations, claustrophobic. Like you've got a very get to A to get to B, then you get through the door, you leave, that level behind. You don't go back. There's none of this sort of exploring really. There's like little tiny little crevices you can go off and find those fucking notes that he decides to write. But other than that, it's quite linear. Exodus
still does that. It still does that note thing in the third one.
No, it does not. So they change all sorts. So there's no lore notes. It's when you find a note, it's Bob the plumber who's telling you how he's died, basically. So you get world building lore. The settings are open, so there are like a handful of locations that you'll visit, and they are like big map, not massive maps, but they're big enough for you to go off and explore. There's normally starting off with one main objective. As you explore, like you unlock side quests that you can go off and do other things and get mods and whatnot. And you can do these in any order. So all the stuff within that map you can kind of do. You kind of always do the thing where I leave the main stuff to the end, get all the side to explore and whatnot. You can clamber up things, Adkins. But you couldn't do that in the last two. You know that thing where that thing where you hit the edge of a surface in like old Halo and you just slip down it. You'd be like,
what was that?
You'd be like, my bloody shins have hit that. I should be getting on top of that, and they don't. The first two didn't have that. That's how old it was. This one, he gets hand on it.
What did we review? We reviewed Borderlands 3, and I said that a big thing was like that you could clamber up something, slide on your knees. Yeah, fucking hell, we've been doing that for years.
I know.
Now Metro are implementing it.
Exodus implementing it, and
Exodus.
It's such a
added.
Yeah,
so small but a big change.
That is, yeah, and the ladders now has a prompt. So I think you press E or something, and it'll initiate the ladder thing. So no getting stuck anymore.
Full Master Race mouse and keyboard jobby.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, brave Marshall.
It wasn't too bad. My little fingers getting a little bit on both hands, stretching and whatnot. Actually, not that one, but my lefty.
You go pinky on shift.
What do I do? Yeah, but I normally miss it, and sometimes I have to adjust. Normally hit control by accident and go. Yeah. But yeah, it's the aim. The scope of the game's much bigger. Like
breakneck this one.
No breaknecking on this one. I got the hours here from Epic. This is including the DLC, which probably was about 6 or 7 hours. But I spent one day, 12 hours, 56 minutes in it. So it can be a meaty one, but it's a worthwhile playthrough. It gives me that kind of a little bit like the Last of Us vibes, where you're skulking through like the fucking swamps or wherever you are. You'll be a little like shack, and you'll be like, right, kind of need to go in there, or should go in there because there might be some parts. So one of the big changes to this one is that you can now craft resources. You can craft ammo on the go. You can mod your weapons, which you could do on the other game, but you can only do that at certain points in the metro stations. Now you've got a bag where you can kind of take a mod off, snap on a silencer, and fuck about with it all that way. So that whole system ties into collecting scrap and collecting like chemicals to make Molotovs or bullets or incendiary bullets or whatever, like health packs. That's all tied in. It's very much like the Last is where you pick up all that shit and you're like, right, what do I make with this? And you make a decision based on your circumstances. So you'll see like a little shack or whatever, and you'll go skulking in there, see like a zombie or a mutated fella in there, just pop him on the head with the silencer, go in, reap the rewards of whatever's in there. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll open a little like cache and it'll have an upgrade for your helmet, like make it more durable, or for your armor. You can make yourself more durable that way. And it's just so much more about it. Like the game's completely different. It feels like a complete departure. You're no longer stuck in these dreadful dark worlds. Like you're out in the open a lot of the time, and you're exploring. And it's just a complete change of pace. Tons of character development. Like you're on this train, and there's a crew of people with you. So you'll listen. You don't have to, but I've sat there and listened to what everyone said. And again, he's silent, so he doesn't get involved, which is annoying. But there's parts where you'll come back and everyone will be having a beer, and they're like, "Oh, Artem, come join us for a beer." And you're like, "Yeah, all right, I'll sit down and have a fucking vodka." It's not beer, it's vodka all the time, pretty much. For these
Oh, those
bastards.
Russians.
Some cunts playing guitar, all this good stuff. So you kind of get to know all the people in and around you
Living,
on that
breathing
train.
world.
Yeah, and the,
Well, not
the, the worlds you visit aren't living and breathing. They're derelict as fuck, Adkins. They're still absolutely riddled
all
with.
barren
Yeah,
wasteland.
they are. But on that train with that crew of people that you're with, they're all like your brothers and your sisters in arms. So it's good. It really is good. I was surprised at how much I liked it. It really got sucked in, and like if you're put off by playing free games, but sort of half interested, I would say drop the other two and just go straight into Exodus. Do a little
No,
story read up, and you'll enjoy a much better game, a much more polished game. If you get it, the enhanced edition, you're going to be absolutely laughing whether you're on PC
that
or on.
ray tracing, like
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it is nice. And if you look at the side by sides of the old one, like it just completely transforms a lot of the settings. Like it's like a room would be pretty much dark, and you kind of be like in a land where there's the sun's out a lot, so a desert type. And because there's no ray tracing, like there's a bit of light coming in, but it's not really simulating it. Now, in the enhanced edition, the room's pretty much lit up from the sun pouring into the window and bouncing off all the objects. It completely changes it, and
Oh,
it's
marvelous.
it's lovely, really. Um, I mean, it's still a bit scruffy in places. Like you
Right.
still get a couple of bugs. Biff played it on the PlayStation and said he had quite a few bugs. But again, I don't think he had the enhanced edition. He played it like a week before that come out, and I was like, "It's a free upgrade. What are you doing?" Fucking,
Typical bit.
oh no, he's a mug, isn't he? So he missed out on that. And
Uh,
but yeah, I mean, it's a really good game. It was an interesting experiment to play three games back to back like that. You kind of really saw, well, not an evolution in the first two. It was like a bit of more of an add-on type vibe. And then with Exodus, I was like, cool. They really have either scaled up or got their shit in order, because they've
or
produced.
that Xbox money coming in,
It might have been chucking
still chucking it at 'em.
Phil chucking. Ain't put it on Game Pass yet, though, is he? This fucking Exodus.
I think Exodus, the original, it was on there, wasn't it?
I don't think
Um,
it was.
I thought it went. No, it definitely did go on there. Not since this new update. It went and it's been and gone
What, on Game Pass?
on Game Pass. Yeah, OG
Oh,
version. No, I hope so. None of that.
no.
Yeah, I think it. I think it did. It might have been. It definitely has been on there because I remember installing it. And I was like, oh no, I want to go through 1 and 2 first. And then now I was like, oh cool. And then looked and it's gone. I was like, oh,
That is
that's
annoying when that
that's
happens.
done. But
But
yeah, no, it definitely did go on, but not since this thing's been announced.
yeah.
Definitely.
But no, it's,
But
it's a great game. Really, it's
mm,
got some issues. Nice and meaty, tense. Love the weapon mods on the go and building your own arsenal. You can pick up.
is there much horror aspect of it, or was it? I remember there was watching someone streaming it, and he kept getting these fucking horrible things that kept like s- sneaking up on him and shit the life
It's
out of him. I
it's
thought,
more. I keep referencing The Last of Us. It's more that sort of. Where it's not.
right,
It's not like Resident
horror,
Evil 7 type
right?
horror. It's not like that, where it's like jump
Uh,
scares and whatnot. It's just like you will get caught out a few times, but it's more like tense panic. 'Cause you're like, fuck, I've only got 7 bullets here, and these cunts have started rushing me. What do I do? So it kind of fills that gap, but you feel a bit more capable, I
course,
think, in
yeah.
this one. So it's not too much of a concern. I'll touch on the DLC because this came. I bought these separately, but there's like a gold edition that bundles these two. One called the Two Colonels, which takes place during the main game. You play as a different character, like a side character you meet during your travels. That's only about 2.5 hours long. Super short. Talks though, so makes the story a bit more palatable.
Testing the waters, isn't they?
Yeah, exactly. And then the second one is a lot longer. It's like the Two Colonels one is like the old Metros. It's very much set in those in the Metro areas. Like it's linear, so you kind of work through that. It's a bit of a throwback. I was like, oh, okay, I don't mind doing this because I've not been playing it for 25 hours just doing this. So that was a nice little nostalgia trip, if you can call it that. The second one, Sam's Story, it's called. You play as a member of like the crew that you're with on the train, and that is you are in like one of these open areas. So you've got 5-6 hours worth of exploration to do if you want to, or you can kind of focus on the main campaign. So I've spent about 5 or 6 in that one, and that was much more like the base game in terms of like a lot of scavenging, finding the weapons, a lot of downtime where you're kind of just out on your own looking for stuff and exploring and whatnot. So that was a bit more of a base game experience. But overall, Exodus was excellent, really. It's not perfect, but I would give it a nice strong 8.5.
Oh, tickling the 9.
Tickled it.
Oh, well, lovely. Cool. As a whole, the franchise.
Well, it's an interesting experiment, like I said. I wouldn't recommend doing it the way I did it because it's depressing. But
Yeah.
it was certainly something that I may do again. I don't know what circumstances will yield me wanting to do this, but it was an interesting way to play them because you really did see like the changes quite vividly. Because it was just like I'll jump into the next one, I'll be like, "Fuck me, they've changed that," or some of the old stuff that they carried through. I was like, "Well, you haven't bothered, have you? You stuck feet up there."
Feet up. 3 years since you played it. It's all gone. That memory is obliterated.
Yeah, that is one thing. So if ever there was a time to do a retrospective of Metro, it'd be now, but no chance. But decent franchise. I'm definitely looking forward to whatever they do next. Kind of got me a bit more hyped for Stalker 2 because I see a lot of similarities there just in the setting. Like it looks like there's going to be, a bit of a crossover there. But certainly looking forward to what the 4A boys and gals do next. And if it's another Metro game, I'm all for it. They've got me on board to get involved in that early doors rather than letting it rot for 2 years and then having to go. Cool. So nice little series. I'm glad that I took the time to do that. Sometimes I've done this in the past and gone, that weren't worth it. But this certainly wasn't it. The crescendo of Exodus was a nice send off.
Beautiful.
Right, Mr. Adkins. What are we doing here? Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
Plus Bowser's Fury.
Do you know this is the highest rated game of the year so far on OpenCritic?
Really?
Yep.
Live.
That's what sort of year it's been.
Is it come out this year, did it? 21 or 20?
2021. February.
Yeah. Blimey.
89 it's sitting on, Loving Life.
89?
No, he's not having it.
No, I've got to say, it was It was a weird experience. It's one of these Switch games. I'll never be breaknecking these Switch games.
They always play.
Pick up and play, and then this one very much has that. It's that type of game. You play it in levels, which is quite. That's how the Switch is really, and you just sort of pick it up now and again, do a journey. So yeah, I think I purchased this and played through it a little bit. I'd never had a 3DS when they were out, so never got to play this. Remember, Salmon was all full of praise for it. But yeah, thought I'd give this one a go. Bought it, played it for quite a bit. I think I played it for about sort of 10 hours, I think, and then done my standard. Something else come along, something shiny.
Yeah,
it got put by the waysides. And then Youngling.
This was Wii U, wasn't it, originally?
Oh yeah, it was. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Did they do?
But no fucker had the Wii U. Don't forget. So
no, that's true. Yeah. Did they do like a 3D? Oh, maybe they done like a 3D.
They named it something different, didn't they?
Did they? Did they do like a little 3DS? Paul will know if he's here. But yeah, fuck him. So yeah, binned it for a little while and sort of then went back to it. I think we talked about it on the podcast before, and therefore I delved into the add-on.
Bowser's Fury. This is a separate menu item.
That's it, yeah, separate menu item.
Did you play that first?
No. I played about 10 hours of 3D World, then had a little dabble in that, And then the fucking game was apprehended by young Adkins Jr., my little son. He was like, right, let me show you how it's done. And he actually played it. He's got his game time on his thing is bigger than mine. Get him on the show.
Get
Um,
him on here.
but yeah, so he started getting further, and then that I think I went away, and that's when I was like, right, I'm going to see this off and finish it.
Yeah.
Because I'd already done most of it on his account. I was like, right, here we go. Um, so yeah, but sticking with just the game on its own, the 3D world, it is like I say, it's very pick up and play. It's just typical Mario where you've got the worlds and
Did you play with
little.
him? Because I know there's a multiplayer option on 3D World.
I have, yeah, not for this. I don't let him touch my account because if he does,
But he
he
could have
dies.
logged in his one, couldn't he? Have a second controller, and then he'd have played like Luigi, and you'd have been Mario.
I don't think it does. I think it does it because it's like couch co-op. It does whoever's
Cool.
account you're on. That's the thing. And he was just I was racking up these fucking mushroom lives and that, and then he starts jumping off the
Killing them
edge of the
all.
world. I was like, fucking hell. I think he lost about 30 in one go. I was like, right, off your pop now. Go on.
Go on your own
Uh,
account.
so yes, if it goes on my account, it's daddy's time. No one's touching that, and then he can fuck about and do it on his one. But yeah, typical Mario. You got your worlds. You work your way through. Um, Getting throwaway story. I can't even remember what it is now.
Peach been
Loads of fair.
kidnapped. Oh no, she's one of the characters,
Yeah,
isn't she?
other characters. No, it's fairies this time. He catches all these fairies and they fly off into different fucking worlds.
Dirty
Um,
bastard.
but what I did do is there's I love these on these type of things. I think that Odyssey had it a bit, but each world had like different requirements that you could meet. So you'd have to like find there'd be like stars you have to find, and then a stamp and something else. And without even realizing, I was going through it 100% in it. I didn't
Oh,
realize. I was like, God, I swear this game's only supposed to be like 10, 15 hours long. And I was like 20 hours in, and I was like, I ain't even fucking touched the sides of it yet. And it weren't until talking to Sam, and he was like, oh no, you're trying to do it like the 100% way.
right.
So I think I went through about 60% of it, 100%, and then just got sick of it. So I was like, right, I just want to get this finished. I'll go back. Probably never will, but you know. Um, but yeah, so yeah, went through it. It's very enjoyable. Like I say, very standard. You go through the world, collect enough stars, and you can then open the boss. Each world has a little boss battle at the end.
Yep.
Typical, you know, um, Mario boss. Got to hit him 3 times in a row. Kapoom. But yeah, enjoyable. It's got quite the 3D aspect. It's more of like a
It's a con in
2
it.
point. Yeah,
It's a swindle that.
a swindle that it's not 3D. You can move. You can move in. It's 4D, but you're very limited to where you can go. It ain't Odyssey, I'll tell you that.
No, it's not. It's not that
But
looking.
yeah, it looks nice, runs nice, solid 60. It's one of these weird ones that runs at 60 on on the dock, but not on
Handheld. And
handheld. Was
yet,
that?
Nintendo, all they're feeding us at the moment is handheld upgrades. If you want me to
Yeah,
play your handheld, make sure it runs at the same. I don't care about
yeah.
a resolution bump, but you make sure those frame rates are up because if you're telling me that that's all you're interested in, then I'll play it in handheld. But you do things like that, it stays in that fucking dock and melts and welds itself to it. That's for you, Nintendo Bowser of the Doug
So
variety.
that's Doug Bowser. But yeah, no, it was pretty good. Yeah, it's sort of Mario. You know what you're getting. A sort
Yeah.
of. It's just one of those. It was just nice to pick up and play. You ain't got to think about anything. You can just literally play it. There's
It's made for brain dead zombies, is what you're
that's the
saying.
thing. It's made for kids, so there's a couple of levels that were slightly challenging.
Yeah.
There is sort of end game to it after you've finished the story of um 3D World. Um, there's like I think it's quite a bit. It's about another 6 or 7 worlds you can do, but they start. I've only really delved into them a little bit, but they are starting to get pretty tough. You got something like what's that game you played, Celeste? That's
Oh,
you're
God.
getting fucking some of the levels on that where you're just like, right, how am I jumping from here to there? How's he
Yeah.
doing that? But you also have like you can pick that you mentioned before. You can pick your characters, and there's like I think it's about 5 characters you get. Standard Luigi, Peach,
Yeah.
Bowser Jr., whatever, the little toad. Each of them sort of have their own sort of perks, like Luigi can sort of like jump and hover, or has a longer
Right.
jump.
Yeah.
Peach hovers and things. So like you sort of can, if you're getting stuck on a level, you can then replay because these levels are so short.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are like you can do them in like 2-3 minutes.
That's funny that because
Um,
that was a staple of Super Mario Bros. 2, I think, the 2D one. You could
okay,
you
yeah, yeah.
I think Luigi had a longer jump and Peach could hover like or glide, I guess,
Oh, that's
over
it. Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah, that was it's
yeah. So it's
interesting they've
quite
kind of pulled that back in.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's good for the challenging. Like I say, it's made for kids, but adults do tend to tend to take over.
Yeah.
But it's got that nice sort of balance of challenging. So if you are getting stuck, you can go back and do it. But yeah, it's pretty box standard for that. That game, finish that off, done and dusted. What I would say though is Bowser's Fury was fantastic, very good.
Oh, my question I
Only
wrote down was: Is Bowser's Fury a worthwhile addition?
very well thought. I thought it was
Wow.
going to be very throwaway, um, just a bolt on for the sale purpose of we've got to put it on Switch, we've got to add something extra. Here we go. Let's just put this on another hour of gameplay and app thing. But it's nothing like 3D World. The only
No.
thing that carries over is the power up system. You can collect the power ups in this one, so you can get the fucking fire flower, is it? So you can throw fire. This
Cat.
one, the very big, the cat one. So yeah, which is
Kitten.
very handy um, for climbing stuff. But that's linear eight. Well, like I say, it's not 3D. It's fucking 2.5 isometric. I'm gonna say. This, however, is complete depart. This is Mario Odyssey
Yeah.
esque 3D.
Camera
You are
control.
camera control.
Third
You
person.
third person shooter.
Uncharted. Gears.
You are in a whole open, well, a small open world.
Resident Evil 4. Yeah.
Cool. What's that? Interconnecting worlds like Bloodborne.
Is it?
Ah, I made it up.
Wow.
But so it's like
I see a
it's
load
a
of cats.
yeah. There's a lot of cats in
You have
there.
to collect them, didn't
Basically,
you?
remember the story on this one? It's Bowser's
Fury,
son.
he's not
He
happy.
starts going. He's gone mental for some reason, and
Cracked
Bowser
up
wants.
again, is he?
Yeah, he's really hit the fucking roof. He's gone, oh, I hate this fucking cunt. I'm sick of catching that fucking slag as well. And he just goes off the boil, and and literally how the game starts is him just going, what a fucking cunt, Mario. That's how it starts. And then, but it's cool. So then you enter this world, and it's little sections. It's like little islands. It's all covered in water. You get this fucking like sea dog that you ride, bless you, whatever
Oh,
it is. Um, but it's little sections of worlds that are covered in water, and as you sort of make your way through it and unlock these stars, you the sort of water drains down a bit, and a new section of the map will open up. But as you're going through these sort of platforming sections and collecting these cat shines, as they're called,
kitten
uh,
shins.
you get constantly Bowser is constantly spinning in the background. I can't. There's some sort of
Well, all
hidden
the time you're playing it, he's there.
whole time you're playing there. He's there, just spinning in the background, and all of a sudden, then the fucking rain cut starts, and then you know when the shit's gonna hit the fan, and then this fuck off gigantic Bowser that's made looks like something out of fucking Pacific Rim.
So is
Well,
that something that you trigger, or does that just happen at
no, that's just
intervals?
happening
So
in
you could be
intervals.
middle of doing something you've done a million times
Yeah.
before, and then suddenly you'll go.
Oh, fucking hell. But the world then changes. Like all these fucking lava
Cool.
bricks come down, and that changes how your platform works. There's like hidden cat shines that you can find that you can only interact with when he's in this mode.
Oh, okay.
It's very clever, but yeah. So then you have to build your enough cat shines to then unlock this big cat bell that then makes you as big as fucking angry Bowser, and then you have to fight him. Guess how many times? 3.
Freeze it.
Standard.
Yep.
But yeah, you're just working your way, and there's all these different shines. I think you can get up. It's another bit like Odyssey, where you can. I think there's 100 shines to get. I mean, 100 shines. That's probably taking you about 10, 15 hours, I reckon.
Yeah.
So for an add-on. But yeah, just the presentation of it. It feels It looks really nice. Like it runs solid 60. It feels like an
30
Odyssey
FPS in
DLC.
handheld.
Oh, dirty. Yeah, it is 30 FPS in there, which is a real stinker from Doug. Um, but it feels more like a Odyssey DLC, which I
Yeah.
think would get you
Well, maybe they
sniffing.
should have fucking put it on that and not attached it
Yeah.
to this bag of, well, not bag of shit, but this old Wii U tutor.
So,
But I guess it
yeah.
makes this package a bit better
Exactly, yeah, and I
on
really did
3D
have
World.
a lot of fun playing that. I've almost played. I know I have played through it twice after fucking that little Herbert getting stuck, and he just went right. You deal with it because you've already done it, and then he just likes going around and getting the shines. But
Any
yeah,
crossover in narrative or link, or is it just literally a completely
nah,
separate?
completely.
They just don't even try to.
Don't even. Nah, he ain't even in that one. I
It
don't
might as well
think.
be standalone in a way.
It should be standing. They should have binned off that 3D. Nah, the 3D World's a perfectly fine game.
Yeah,
It's just I don't know. Yeah, it's just Mario. It's not break. Mario Odyssey was like the breaker. That was like, cool. This is a new Mario. This is the Mario I've wanted. Mario
like
3D World's
Cappy.
great, but it's Mario. It's what you expect from a Mario game.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Bowser's Fury was a delight to play. It was lovely. It felt like an addition, like I say, to Odyssey. It's there. You can breakneck it and do it in a couple of hours if you really want, or you can stick around, get every 100 fucking catch shine, and really give it a good shagging. But yeah, I thought that just made the package worthy of a purchase and playing.
that
Um, Good
package.
addition.
I've got it
Yeah.
sitting there installed and haven't touched it. Well, I'm
Have you?
going in order now, aren't I?
Oh
I'm on Super
shit.
Mario World 2, which I I love Super Mario World, but 2 I can't get on with this. You're playing as
Oh,
fucking Yoshi. Oh, that's
I was
Yoshi's
just
Island.
thinking, I don't even think Yoshi's in any of these.
Well, he shouldn't
Really?
be after this performance
Maybe that's why.
in World
Doug,
2.
don't put him in.
But I'm
Don't
planning to
even
try and go through the main line. I think
all
the
the
next one
entry.
will be 64.
Cool. How are you going to play that original Galaxy?
Well,
Oh, oh,
it's on that All
yeah,
Stars, isn't it?
Galaxy 2. You're gonna have to bust the old Nana's Wii out.
Yeah, that's the missing one. I think I'm just gonna just in my head say that's just
Salmon,
DLC.
or Salmon will sort you out of an emulator with his fucking Xbox.
Probably he probably will on that Stream Deck or Steam Deck. It'll be running on
But
that within a few days once that
yeah.
hits.
So yeah, when you get to this, like I say, I think you'll enjoy 3D World. It's a decent Switch game. Works so well on the Switch because it's pick up and play, do what you want.
Hmm.
But Bowser's Fury was brilliant. A real solid entry. And I would give the overall package an 8 on the nose.
Cool, 8 on the nose.
Boom.
Not the 89s that the critics are saying.
Sure. Nah, it. Like I was saying earlier, to repeat again,
The repeater.
Odyssey broke the mold, and I was like, "Cool, this is a different new Mario experience." That's Mario. That's what you're expecting from Mario. It is good, hits the ball, does what you want, does what it says, but 3D World banks it up. Excellent experience. But yeah, yeah, I think if you're a real hardcore Mario fan, which there's a lot of them out there, they probably would give it the 8.5, maybe a 9.
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue if someone was to say that, but as a grown adult,
Nah.
story when a story with narration, everything to me. When you're playing likes of Last of Us and fucking I don't know, Firewatch, fucking Edith Finch, and
What?
then you're getting Mario fucking losing a slag to some lizard, whatever
That's
he is.
all of them though.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah,
They
I want to
always.
see some. I want to see Mario dealing with depression
they
whilst
prob-
having
they'll prob-
mushroom zombies chasing him.
or maybe he gets addicted to mushrooms,
Yeah,
and they play it off as like an addiction type issue.
cool. That would get me. Get him. He's addicted to shrooms, and you play him having tripping his balls off.
They should do
Get,
it where
get me
you
that.
don't know that's happening, but the
Yeah,
more and more that you get the mushrooms to think you're making it easier, you're actually making it harder to get out of the level, like to escape the addiction.
quite a good idea.
Doug, where are
But
you at, boy?
dog, get that.
Give us a tinkle. Yeah,
Don't nick that. We've got royalties on that if that's happening.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, very good. 8 on the nose, I'd say, for young 3D World, which
So
Salmon will be happy
he
with.
will be well happy with that. Well, I think he'll want more, but there you go. Is there any interest in you? I know it's. I don't know if. Well, actually, is the question. Did you buy that 3D All Stars package before it went off sale?
I did. It's still. I was going to go and get it, but you'll see me naked from the
So
waist down.
are you? Is this?
I,
What's the plan with these Mario? Are you going to play them, or you? Now you've
I,
done this one. Is it? That's cleared one,
I
obviously.
played.
But
I done Galaxy on the Wii before Odyssey came out. Unbelievable. I had this weird Wii phase where I went through
I've.
Twilight
Well,
Princess,
I didn't do
Mario
that.
Galaxy. I went to go and play two, but I didn't have it, and it was like fucking 50 quid. I was like, I ain't paying 50 quid for that.
No.
A Wii game. And then I bought Skyward Sword. I bought this just because of it was running out. Currys were doing like a tenner off or something, so I
Yeah.
bought it on there. But it's still in this cellophane. I'd quite like to play it, to be honest, because I've never played that Sunshine.
Mm-mm.
Uh, love to have a go on old. I used to love the 3D Mario 64.
Yeah.
That is the one, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Off the old
and
N64 jobbies.
that's it. Like I say, Galaxy was another one. It was like the Odyssey before Odyssey. It was
Yeah.
that different take on Mario.
Yeah.
And I'd like to play that through again not on a fucking Nintendo Switch at 480p.
That's true. Although I don't know I don't know how much they've upscaled it on these. It sounds like they haven't. They
Oh, I remember that
this
was one
could
of
have
the
been the
reviews.
perfect package, and they've just literally gone.
Yeah.
Nah.
Ah, fuck it. Yeah, I remember that being in the reviews saying it's not really tied up. I think Galaxy was probably the best one that had been tied up, but no, I would like to play it. It's just yeah, just having to getting that. I go through phases of consoles. I'll play something on there. I
Yeah.
need. I'm struggling to get the Switch hype up and running. I think that the disastrous OLED debacle. I
It took
think
the
I was
wind out
much.
of our
I
sails.
have. So that would on that I could have had redemption. I could have actually unbroken the seal. But now I'm sitting on a gold mine with this in its cellophane wrapper.
Well, I know lots of people have got them. I reckon loads of people will be having
Still
those.
selling them. I keep seeing them on fucking that website we use. Pornhub. No, what's it called? UK Yacht Deals. It
Oh
keeps
yeah,
coming
yeah.
up. Still selling them in the
They've
shops.
still got. Yeah, they haven't sold. That's the thing. They've not sold out of
Sold the
them.
copies,
So
have they? No.
whatever Nintendo were trying to do, I don't know. So weird. Anyway, so that's another
No one.
discussion for another
I don't
day
even
for
think they. I
Nintendo.
don't even think Doug knows what he's doing. He
No.
just goes. I know what you'll want. You ain't getting that. You're getting cardboard VR and shut up and a Ring Fit.
Sold 11 million copies apparently that Ring Fit. I mean that
Blimey.
is they
Look at
stumbled on
that.
that one and gone.
Oh,
Oh.
have we sold that to the
Yeah,
masses?
fuck me.
But
But yeah,
but
oh
yeah,
excellent.
one
So
day
yeah. I mean, I'll get to this because the
we'll
plan
get it
is
then.
just to trickle through the series. Look, I'm not going to play the Galaxy 2. I just can't. I ain't gonna. Nana's not
Oh,
getting the
make Bam
Switch
back.
out.
Get that fucking waggler out.
It's what I heard about 2 is that it's still really good, but it's just a load of levels. Like I know
Right.
that's what Mario is typically,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I might just
Still feel there could be a remaster up in the works.
if
You
they
never
do
know.
that, I'm
40th
interested.
anniversary, another five
Oh,
years away.
get the Switch Pro by then, so that'll be the year it launches with that. That'll be the fucking launch game. Well, look, I'm going to call this episode to a close. We got through. Well, it feels like I only got through 2 games, but actually, technically, it was 4 because they
Cool.
had the old trilogy at the start.
Oh yeah.
Frontlined it. So we'll call
Yeah.
this one to a close, so we're not squashing in the next game, whatever it is, trying to cut it off. But thanks for joining us this week. We're going to carry on in real life and record some more impressions. So you'll hear that in the coming weeks. And depending on news items, we'll just slot these in as and when there's a gap. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/Dimp Digital or twitch.tv/Dimp Digital. You can sign up on Patreon, become an actual patron. You can join the community. £2.50 a month is what the going rate is for that. I mean, it won't even buy us a beer. So you're spending less than a pint if you want to be doing that. Twitch has the advantage in that if you've got Amazon Prime, you can link your Twitch account to that, sub to the channel, the Dimp Digital Twitch channel for free, and then we get about £2. So again, those two together combined makes one beer. The melting pot. Anyway, if you got this far, thanks for listening or watching. We'll be back next Monday for more Idle Game Chat. Nothing more for us to say here, though, other than Thanks for your time, and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.